This is The Great Outdoors with Jason White, exploring the great outdoors in Pennsylvania and beyond. Brought to you by the Mariana Outdoorsmen Association and by Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Now, The Great Outdoors with Jason White.
Hello, friends. I'm Jason White. Welcome to The Great Outdoors. Have an exciting show today. We're going to be diving into some Sunday hunting legislation that looks like it's moving through. Already has moved through the state Senate, and now it is moving on to the floor of the state house. So we're going to dive into that, and I got some other projects and event things that I want to go over with everyone. But looking at the immediate, I want to start off with our sponsors. Special thanks to the Mariana Outdoorsman Association. You can join the MOA today, get the rest of 2024 for free with the purchase of a 2025 membership. You can do that at MarianaOutdoors.com. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com. Or you can always give us a call at 724-579-0924. We're always having tours and even private tours, group tours, etc. to show off the amenities, answer any questions in person or over the phone. Again, MarianaOutdoors.com. Give us a call at 724-579-0924. Also, Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds, which is managed by 10 Mile Creek Outfitters. If you're looking to book a weekend stay, whether that's at our lodge or cottage, go to 10mileco.org. Again, TENMILECO.org. Or again, give us a call at 724-579-0924. Additionally, upland bird hunts, fully guided. Guided trout fishing trips, fully guided. Let's see here. White-tailed deer hunts, trophy white-tailed deer hunts, free range, semi-guided, and spring fully guided turkey hunts. All the above are open range, no fence, certainly trophy experiences and once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Again, check us out, 10mileco.org. Book your hunt, fishing trip, blast and cast. Certainly happy to have you. Give us a call, 724-579-0924. And visit Pennsylvania, folks. We certainly are. Doors are open here in PA for the great outdoors, and we're hoping folks from other states come to visit. So, please, please, please come visit not only southwestern Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania as a whole. Looking ahead at events for the Mariana Outdoorsman Association, tomorrow, which is Thursday, there's going to be a second large quail stalking. So if anybody hasn't seen that, you're welcome to participate. It should happen around 12 p.m. It's going to totally depend on the delivery, but that's a tentative time. Be stalking the fields at Wild Acres with quail. Members can hunt 6 days a week. State and federal laws apply. Any questions, please, again, give us a call, 724-579-0924. Friday, October 11th, will be trout stalking number 1 of the fall, winter, spring stalking season. We meet at 1997 Maury Road, Clarksville, PA, 15322. If you'd like to come check it out, see how we stalk, if you've never done that, if you just want to have that experience, we'd love to have you. Friday, October 18th, Fayette County Farm Bureau is hosting a continental pheasant hunt as a fundraiser for the Farm Bureau at Wild Acres. If you would like to participate, information for this is listed under the Mariana Outdoorsman Association's Facebook page and also Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds Facebook page. Both have information. If you are interested in participating, you will register via the website. And there's other information there regarding sponsorships, registration, etc. But it's a fun time. We'd love to have you. Friday, October 18th. Saturday, October 19th, there's a gun and cash bash. It's the inaugural Energy and Sportsmanship Bash. It's a collaboration between the Mariana Outdoorsman Association and the U.S. Oil and Gas Alliance. Really excited about this, highlighting not only the energy industry and the great outdoors, but how there's a collaborative effort and how conservation is so important between the two, and basically how we live in harmony. So, again, information on this event is under the Mariana Outdoorsman Association's Facebook page and also on our website at marianaoutdoors.com. The event will be held at 19 North Event Venue in Washington, Pennsylvania. It is approximately a half a block from the county courthouse, right there on the main drag. It's catty corner to President's Pub. So lots of parking. There's going to be street parking. There's big parking lots. There's a big parking garage. But you come in the main door, and then it's going to be a fantastic event. Look forward to having everybody. Trout stocking number 2. Seems like we just said about October 11th, but yes, we will turn around and have our second stocking. It'll be Thursday, October the 24th at 3 p.m. 1997 Maury Road, Clarksville, PA 15322. Same locations. We're going to go back and hit it again. That Friday, October the 25th, the Appalachian Pipeliners Association are hosting their second annual trout fishing tournament. It's a fundraiser for the Pipeliners Association. So if you have never participated, information is on the Appalachian Pipeliners Association's Facebook page, their LinkedIn, websites, etc. So just do a basic search and you'll see that out there. I know personally I've been sharing their information, but we would love to have you. So please check that out. And then if you check out MOA's Facebook page and or website, you also see in December we have a one-day fly fishing tournament, and then in the spring we have a 3-day fishing tournament. So super excited about all the great stuff that's coming down the barrel. Really looking forward to all these fun, I would say all these fun events. And our doors are certainly open, and we'd love to have each and every one of you. I want to dive into some, I'm going to say some not breaking news, but this is up-to-date news. I've kept everybody very informed in the past in regards to the different legislative packages that were happening in regards to not only Sunday hunting, but the farming packages that were linked to it with trespass reform, etc. So Senate Bill 67 passed the House Game and Fisheries Committee with a vote of 15 to 10, 15 yeses, 10 noes. The legislation was approved and now will go to the full House for consideration. The bill was sponsored by Senator Dan Laughlin of Erie County, and it already has passed the full Senate, being the whole full Senate floor. Basically, the legislation allows the Pennsylvania Game Commission to decide which Sundays can be made open to hunters. Presently, the decision is made by the state legislators, which, this is why there's only the 3 Sundays, and there's a lot that goes with that. So since 2019, the legislature has only permitted 3 Sundays for hunting each hunting year, which is its own problem. In addition to removing the prohibition on Sunday hunting, this legislation also guarantees a member of the Game Commission voting board is connected to the agricultural community. This is critical, folks. Critical. I'm going to circle back to this because I want to really hit on this. And it also creates extra opportunities for farmers to address crop damage being done by wildlife. The bill includes the development of an agricultural access permit list to connect farmers to hunters and trappers in the area. I'm going to hit on this too. And lastly, the bill strengthens trespass penalties for those hunting illegally on private land. All right, so let's dive into this. Number 1, economics, social issues. Opening up Sunday hunting is a benefit for the economy. More people then have greater access to the outdoors. There's greater opportunity that people are going to spend money. So let's talk about that. That's a known fact. It is what it is. It's reality. The more opportunities we have to hunt Sundays, people are going to spend money. Not only that, the bordering states, people that enjoy hunting, greater opportunity that people are going to then travel from other states, the bordering states, to come across the border to hunt here on the weekends or to even potentially book a weekend trip. So that's critical. Social benefits. Now you got better chances that, parents that have Sundays off from work, etc., could then connect with their children into the outdoors. When right now, those 3 days are the only opportunities on said Sundays. So there's certainly systemic benefits, even socially, for kids and adults alike, to connect in a positive regard with the outdoors on a Sunday. When we talk about the social and economic benefits, obviously both of those tie into, hey, there's a greater potential then you're going to see, hopefully, an increase license sales when this all comes to fruition. So that's also another systemic potential benefit, and we hope that would be the case. Looking at this legislation, the Game Commission board member being connected to the agricultural community, I want to stress this is not reflective of the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. This has nothing to do with the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. This position is what I'm referring to. It is paramount that no matter what board that exists, you want people that have knowledge and intelligence and a background in what they're representing. The bureaucracy and political appointments can be devastating to not only local communities, but the Commonwealth as a whole, and even the country. This just simply highlights the importance that, somebody from an agricultural background must be on the board of commissioners that can bring forth common sense, intelligence, knowledge and understanding of what, the impacts of wildlife are on the agricultural community. Because at the end of the day, the last statistic I heard was like approximately 80-something% of white-tailed deer are harvested on private property as opposed to public land. So, when you think about that, a tremendous amount of farmers fall within that private land purview. So we should certainly have people representing the communities that have knowledge in those arenas. And currently, and in the past, that hasn't been the case. That's not a how do I want to say it? That is not an insult to anybody's intelligence. But, just because somebody's friends of some politician or whatever reasons that certain people got on boards, that's not what we as citizens of Pennsylvania, sportsmen of Pennsylvania, that is not what we need. We need people that truly know and understand what they're talking about and how to make good decisions and intelligent decisions, and can have an intelligent conversation and bring forth the facts on these boards. And that's just not, this is highlighting this board. There are other boards that this same mentality needs to be reflective upon. I can say the same thing for the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And certainly we could go right on down the line. You need to have people on these boards that are political appointments that have knowledge and understanding. And this is simply just putting up some guardrails, however you want to say it, to try to ensure that at least one of these people falls underneath of that category. So I'm really happy and excited about this, because I think that a lot of these boards go under the radar and people don't understand how some of these people have such an important, number one, they're not elected, they're appointed. And number two, how the decisions they make have such a paramount impact on, the hunting, fishing communities, economy, social impacts, so on and so forth. Also, there are things in the bill to have agricultural access permit lists to connect farmers with hunters and trappers. What that is going to do is basically, this will not be every hunter and trapper. Basically, there's going to be like a vetting process, I guess we're going to call it, to where, obviously people go through their hunter safety course, but they're going to basically create some extra classes or courses that you must participate in, basically to prove that obviously you're a law-abiding citizen, because necessarily you do not have to be a law-abiding citizen in all capacities to have a hunting license. Basically, this is going to vet people. This is going to make people have go through some classes to better, how do I say this? Educate people about common courtesy, ethical activities, things that matter, things that people should in many ways already know, but sadly it seems like this is why so many private landowners are so upset with people. They just lack common courtesy and lack, it seems like knowledge and understanding that, people are letting you hunt, but it doesn't give you free rein to just do whatever the heck you want on people's property, and you should respect it. And that's basically what this is about. This is just to get people to be vetted, and then that list would be accessible to farmers. And then farmers could reach out to people and say, hey, I see that you went through the vetting process, and I'd like to open my doors to you. So, it's obviously not going to be for everybody. Some people are probably not going to want to deal with the vetting process. That's fine. But obviously, if you're a hunter and you're looking to gain access to more ground for hunting opportunities, certainly this is a great opportunity for you. So, follow this as it kind of goes through. And I'm really excited about it, because I think it's a great segue for farmers to open up more land to folks. But they don't want to do that because they just don't want to, they don't want to open up the doors to everyone, because just because somebody has a hunting license does not make them necessarily somebody that a farmer wants to have on their land. And that's okay. That's okay. This just gives people that reassurance, that gives them that little bit of extra knowledge to know that this person's a good person, and I feel comfortable to have them on my property. The last piece of the puzzle is the trespass. So I've talked about this a lot in the past. This specifically addresses Title 34. So there's Title 18, which is the criminal code. There's Title 30, which is the fishing and boating code. And then there's Title 34, the game trapping and hunting code. It is very, how do I want to say this? It's very important to know and understand that this is not going to address everybody's trespass issues. I want to start there. It is definitely going to help with the hunting side of it. It was funny. I actually blew a tire on the highway the other day, and a gentleman stopped, and he actually was helping me on the turnpike, and we were having a conversation just about this, and he was saying about how he deals with the trespass issue, and basically nobody will do anything about it. Well, this finally, hopefully, will give enough teeth to help people. I really hope it does. It seems like it's going to. I have not seen the final version after with the Senate Bill 67 piece of this. I saw the different things that were proposed initially from the House bills, because there's also another package of bills that came out of the House that were going across to the Senate. So I don't know what they're going to do with that, because there was different penalties, I guess we're going to say, like the severities of how this was all going to go down. But I will tell you, it's definitely going to be very important for the landowners, and where somebody can have increased, how do I want to say it, increased security for themselves, to know that, hey, if somebody does come on my property and I do call to deal with this issue, that now there's going to be some teeth to really bite into it. So I'll keep you posted once I see kind of, because you have to remember this has crossed the whole Senate floor, so it's already crossed that piece of the puzzle from this package. Because basically what happened was the Senate put together a package of bills, and the House had their own package of bills. And what had happened was the Senate moved first, Senator Laughlin, and these bills already went through the whole floor of the Senate, and they've passed. Now they're over, like I said, into the House Game and Fisheries Committee. They did not add any amendments. But that being said, when this goes on to the floor of the entire House, there's the realistic potential that amendments could potentially on the entire floor get added to it. I do not know that that's going to happen. If amendments were going to happen, I figure they would have come out of the Game and Fisheries Committee. Typically, that's what happens. So that didn't happen. So I'm hopeful in the capacity that this probably will get across the finish line without any amendments, but there's still the potential. And then once obviously it goes on to the House floor, if there are no amendments and it's passed, then it'll go to the governor's desk and be signed into law, hopefully, unless he vetoes it. But hopeful that I don't see any reason that he would do that. So we'll see. The other thing that also came out of all this, there were some amendments that were proposed, and I kind of wanted to go through these because I think they're important. Because although they were proposed as part of this package, but they did not get added, but they were discussed. These amendments included the start of Monday after Thanksgiving, as opposed to Saturday for opening day rifle season. That's not going to happen with this. So if that gets brought up, it'll be, how do I want to say this? This will happen in the future to where if they want to bring it up, about moving the opener. I don't really understand why the legislature in that piece wants to be so involved. I don't really get it. I personally think the Saturday thing's a good thing. But that's just me. I know people are, pretty ingrained about tradition, and I respect that too. But change is a part of life and part of politics, part of society, and I think the Saturday is certainly, in my opinion, for the best. Another thing that was brought up as part of a potential amendment but did not happen was prohibiting a game warden from having to list their home address on the citations. I didn't even really know that was a thing. I don't even know why they have to do that or why it's even on there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But that's something I guess that's going to be circled back upon. Changing the open fields doctrine to reduce limitless searches by wildlife officers. This is a huge one. I 1,000,000% support that. The open fields doctrine, when it impacts Pennsylvania, this is federal legislation. It's it's old. But this has been brought up numerous times, even by the Supreme Court. And basically, the sad part is that these game and fish agencies have a lot of limits well beyond a police officer to come onto your property. And I strongly feel that there needs to be reforms to the open fields doctrine to reduce limitless searches by wildlife officers, which is to tell you, because I've dealt with this myself and I've seen it. Like they're really coming on people's properties without a true reason and without having warrants to question people or to obtain information, almost like in an investigation. So you have to really think of this, like when you're talking about these wildlife agencies, they have the ability to even come into your homes, come onto your properties, confiscate firearms, so on and so forth. So this open fields thing, for those that are maybe not unaware of it, do yourself an internet search. The open fields doctrine definitely in the state of Pennsylvania needs reformed. There are other states that have completed reforms of the open fields doctrine, and I myself think that is something that the limitless searches and seizures without a warrant is, to me, literally insane. And I think Pennsylvania needs to take the appropriate steps to protect people. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, if there's a reason that they need to get a warrant, just like a police officer, they can get it. You know, you go to a judge and you get an emergency warrant to search somebody's property. I mean, obviously, if there's justified reasons, get the warrant. Otherwise, you don't have the warrant, you don't have the right. People have constitutional rights. The open fields doctrine just really limits you as a person, puts you in a box when it comes to these hunting and fishing agencies, conservation agencies. Also, there was an amendment as far as changing how the game commissioners are appointed to include voting by hunters. I mean, this has been brought up. I could see that being a viable thought to allow people to potentially vote somehow, some way. I'm not really sure how that would look. It's an interesting concept to allow people to vote for these appointments. I love the thought and the premise of it, that it could be like on a ballot, that the voters could actually get to vote on these particular issues. My only concern would be, how would it look? You know, how would it operate? How would they do it? So I think there's potential there, because I personally, I mean, I've made this very clear. This whole bureaucracy of appointments with these boards is not working, and I strongly think there needs to be major reforms as a whole. I'm interested about the whole voting idea. I'm not really sure how, again, I don't know how it would work. This is just a general overview of the thought, but I think there's a lot of potential there. Changing the game fund code to prohibit the purchase of alcohol and hiring of lobbyists. I actually think that's another interesting conversation. So basically, this happened this past year to where basically the game commission hired a lobbyist, a lot of money. Don't quote me, but I think it was somewhere in the ballpark of like $10,000 a month is what the retainer was. And basically, they were using money to purchase, drinks and things. I guess we'll say like entertainment with other politicians. Interesting topic. To me, the Game Commission should have enough internal people that can act as lobbyists to convey a message. They should have their own legislative liaison person internally. So why they need to hire a lobbying firm, I have no freaking idea. I do not see a reason or a need or a justified rational reason for such a thing. It's a waste of money. So I think that's another thing that certainly needs to be brought up. Says here, committee chair Anita Kulik of Allegheny said several of these votes on amendments deserve more time to discuss and should be their own legislation. And I agree with her. I think that a lot of these amendments are actually good ideas. I think they're worth a conversation. Personally, I like the Saturday opener. That's just me. I understand, again, tradition. The open fields doctrine absolutely needs reformed. The searches and seizures things, I think is kind of a little bit insane to think about, because think about it from a police officer's perspective. They can't just, come on your property or go in your house or do whatever. But when you talk about, these conservation officers, it's a totally different topic. And I think, personally, I think the open fields doctrine is a big gorilla, when we're talking about these different ideas to be discussed in the future. Absolutely, everybody should look into that. It's a huge negative impact when it comes to your civil rights. So if you're somebody that's you're a lover of the Constitution and you're a lover of civil rights, certainly the Open Fields Doctrine is something that you should be aware of and understand how it can certainly negatively impact your life. But yes, I think ultimately I want to say this. I applaud a lot of people here. This was both sides of the aisle coming together, which I think is fantastic. These are not partisan issues. These are people issues. These are Pennsylvania issues. These are everybody's issues. Whether you're talking about, holy smokes, open up the Sunday thing. Again, so many benefits. Putting knowledgeable people on these boards. It's like a no-brainer. It's crazy that there has to even be legislation to even bring it up. Opening up doors for more hunters to access to more land. Awesome. Addressing issues with criminal trespass. Awesome. Giving private property owners more rights. Awesome. And I'm really proud of everybody involved from the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau that has been very vocal and made such an influential, I think, positive impact working with people, both sides of the aisle. This just goes to show what can happen, what the potential opportunities are for people to, in my opinion, do great things if you put your mind to it. Sometimes, believe it or not, folks, sometimes things actually can get done in Harrisburg if people actually can put aside their partisan differences and start talking about actually positive outcomes that people could, push across the finish line together. So this is a testament to the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. Highly recommend, if you're not a Pennsylvania Farm Bureau member, please consider joining. Despite what county you live in, or despite what your, what background you have, or what your job is, we all eat food. We all eat agricultural products every day of our lives. Agriculture is all around us. The Farm Bureau does so much, not only when it comes to positive things like this, but also so much with children's programs, education, different things, 4-H. I mean, I could go on and on and on about everything the Farm Bureau is involved with in a great and positive capacity. But this legislative package is certainly a testament to that. This has been a collective effort. I would certainly like to thank the Wildlife and Fisheries Committee with the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. You all have been nothing short of amazing. I'd like to thank President Chris Hoffman of the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. Certainly not only his steadfast leadership, but also our committee's due diligence, research, people and volunteers, all volunteers, people volunteering their time with these committees, putting forth ideas, policies, resolutions, so on and so forth. So tip of the cap to all of you for your efforts. And I'm so thankful of all the politicians that have ushered in these positive reforms, and I'm really excited about where things are headed. I'm really excited to see this get on the House floor and get a hopefully yes votes. Furthermore, I'm excited not only for the day that the governor signs all this stuff, but I'm also excited for the future, because I think when you look at what is not being achieved right now, these amendments bring up some great points, and they deserve to be discussed. Number one. Number two, another thing that's critically important is, criminal trespass. I mentioned that Title 34 is being addressed. Title 18 and Title 30 are not. We need to fix that. That's got to be a high valued opportunity, for all of us. And I think, we all got to come together and figure out, how do we, if we've shown positive success here with what we've done collectively, all these different people being involved, to see this much stuff coming forth in a legislative package is honestly not something you see, let alone, and like, it's very rare. So like, this is monumental to see this much good coming out of a legislative package that's going to impact so many things in a positive regard. So I'm super excited about all this because it sets the stage for the future of what people can do when they work together. And again, put aside partisan differences. These issues are not partisan. These issues are issues that impact us all, and we all should just come together to find positive solutions. But again, there's a lot between open fields doctrine, criminal trespass of Title 18, Title 30. Some of these other boards need to be reformed and how those processes and procedures happen, including with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. Looking at things like, the crop damage issues. We're going to have to keep diving into that because the Game Commission and USDA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, are not doing enough, and there's got to be some more solutions here. Clearly, there's positive steps even in this legislative package that are happening. I know the Game Commission is now talking about a lot of these issues more than they've ever talked before because there's been so much, I would say, blowback, so much awareness being brought to these issues. So, that's going to be in the future, what's going to come. Game lands, how the game lands being managed, how's the habitat being, managed, where's the money being spent. That's going to be a major thing in the future. These balance sheets showing, the income and expense reports showing, giant profits on an annual basis. Meanwhile, while you're having declines in hunters, that's not going over very well. There needs to be greater investment back into the game lands. There needs to be greater investment into the counties as to which these game lands reside, especially when you're raking in hundreds of millions of dollars in natural resource revenue from oil and gas to hay to coal to stone, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter. It's extremely important that all of this stuff gets its, how do I want to say it, gets appropriate recognition of where the money's coming from. And yeah, that money should not leave those, not only the communities and county, but it's jettisoned to Harrisburg into a pot, and the communities then are not seeing the benefits. So I'm a firm supporter of reforms in the future when it comes to, these natural resources. There needs to be a committed legislative reform that some of that money has to stay not only on that property and invested back into that property, but also into that county. Because whether there's things with kids programs in schools, programs into hunting and fishing clubs, if you're talking about gun range improvements, don't get me wrong, I know that the Game Commission just opened up, their gun range, the gun range improvement program this year. There's like a revolving grant. I think that's fantastic, and don't get me wrong, I'm certainly a steward to speak highly of that, and I think it's fantastic. But there's a lot more that can be done. Clubs that want to install 3D archery ranges, clubs that want to install, other types of habitat, whether that's waterways habitat, whether that's wetlands habitat, whether that's orchards, trees. There's a lot of other things that the Game Commission could do to invest monies back into said counties, even in those capacities, that I think are tremendous opportunities. And here's the thing, even when you're talking about that, you got to look at the perspective of, okay, if let's just hypothetically say in one particular county, statewide from natural resources, it was like in 2022, it was like $390 million roughly that was generated from natural resources. When you think about that, that piece of the puzzle, let's just, out of all the counties, let's say, I don't know, let's just use Washington County as an example. Let's just hypothetically say it was $10 million that was generated. I don't know the exact number. I'm actually going to figure that out, and I'm going to have another episode where I break it down as to what the counties generated and what left and what went to the actual black abyss of Harrisburg. But when you think about it, though, what out of that budget went back into that county? I can tell you it's like minimal at best. You can't count the pheasants because people are paying for a pheasant stamp, so like those stockings don't matter. So basically, you're talking about how much equipment was rented at a local business to be used at a game lands. What farmers, planted anything on the game lands or generated any type of habitat for wildlife. And you really can't utilize the argument of, oh, well, they put wetlands at a game lands. Well, yeah, most of that is because of other wetlands damages, and somebody had to do remediation. So that's where they did it. It wasn't that was just something that had to be invested, like it was an investment or a donation. So you gotta consider that also. So I'm going to be diving in and talking a lot about that stuff and breaking down the different budgets and having a better understanding for you all of what money's being generated, where it's going, and for you to better understand, like, we need to get more of this money back into our local communities. But at the end of the day, this is an amazing legislative package of positivity. I'm really excited about it, really excited to see the benefits for the sporting community, outdoors in general, agricultural communities. Again, extremely thankful. Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, all those involved, from President Hoffman down to the Wildlife and Fisheries Committee, down to the counties, all the positive voices, all the positive efforts, volunteerism. Special thanks to all the politicians, elected officials that have come together. But also, I want to acknowledge those that had ideas that did not get into the legislation, and the opportunities that we have in the future to talk about them and hopefully implement other positive changes in the future. But for now, please stay tuned on upcoming events that we have with the Mariana Outdoorsman Association. Please check us out, marianaoutdoors.com. Please give me a call anytime, 724-579-0924. Please check out Wild Acres, 10mileco.org. Again, 10mileco.org. Give me a call, 724-579-0924. We can book your hunt, fishing trip, blast and cast anytime. Happy to have you. But for this week, I'm Jason White. This has been The Great Outdoors. You enjoy your week and weekend, and God bless, and I'll talk to you next week.